Hey, you're about to watch another video of mine. Thanks. Black lives still matter. They have always mattered. But the fight ain't over. So, check the description for petitions and things you can do to help. Because we still need to be working on this. We still need to be signing petitions, donating where we can, when we can, of course. And yeah, wear a mask in public. Alright, on to the video. This has been your Pam PSA. Hello BookTube, my name is Pamela, and today I bring to you my answers for the Reading Rush's Racing to Read book tag. These questions were so much fun, I had to make a video for them. They're just, yes, lots of fun. Without further ado, why don't we get started with the questions? The first question is, Warm Up, a book that stretches your mind. My answer is Bone Gap by Laura Ruby, because this book is really weird, and I like weird books. I don't know how to describe this book. I've never really been good at describing this book, but yeah, it's an interesting mystery about these two brothers who are trying to get by, and this mysterious woman they meet who disappears. One of the brothers is convinced she was kidnapped, but she didn't just leave town, and weirdness happens. Your reality is questioned a lot in this book. It was so much fun. I really need to reread this, and I'm gonna go check out the audiobook, see what it's like. That's also really cool cover. Bone Gap, and then this bee. What? The second question is Start Line. What's a book you started but never finished? And I interpreted this as a book that you started and are never planning on finishing. Because there's some books on here that I've started that I will finish, don't know when. Examples would be 100 Years of Solitude, up here, and Scott Westerfeld's Afterworlds, down here. The book I picked is The Lux by Anna Godberson. I only made it to page 33 before being like, I'm not interested in this, so maybe I'll give it a shot before donating it, but currently it's just taking up space on my shelf. And I only found out recently that this was a really popular series on BookTube a few years ago. I just never got into it. My mom had gotten me this when I was like, I need new books. I never got into it. I made it to chapter 3. That's it. Maybe I'll give it another shot, but I don't know. Question 3 is Sprint, a book you read really quickly. My answer for that is Sadie by Courtney Summers. I read this in a day and a half, and I have not stopped thinking about it every day since. Not just because I have a tattoo inspired from it on my arm, but because it is such a haunting story. It will haunt you long after you reach the final page in the little description thing. Yes, just 100% yes. I love this book, and I read it very quickly. When I first heard this question, I was like, oh, a poetry book. But I felt like that was cheating, but I have several poetry books that I read in, an afternoon. But Sadie, I read really quickly. Question 4 is Marathon. What's your favorite long book? And I couldn't just pick one, of course. I had to pick 2. But they're both over 500 pages, which to me means a long book. So I have here The Book Thief by the one and only Marcus Zuzak and Shannon McGuire's Middle Game. Oh my god, these are both thick books. The Book Thief is 550 pages, and this one's 528, if I remember correctly. Both fantastic, both really long books, but I love them both dearly. This is my signed copy. It's very special to me. One day I'll make a video about the story of how I got this. It's a really fun one. In my opinion, it's a fun story. 2 favorite long books. Question 5 is Hurdles. What's a book that had ups and downs? I picked An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. Now, if you've read this book, you might be wondering why I picked that, but even if you have read it, maybe you'll understand. This book does have a lot of up and downs, and also a lot of sticky notes, with a perfect matching green to this cover, if I might say. I myself had a lot of ups and downs with this book, because there were definitely points I really didn't like the main character. I was like, why are you doing this? Why? And I took a few days off from reading it, and then I finished it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm finished, cool. The sequel is now on my shelf too, but when I was reading this, the sequel was on its way to me. So yeah, I had a lot of hurdles, ups and downs with this book. I had, I think, an emotional journey reading this book. Question 6 is finish line. A book you were proud to finish. I chose Ink Death by Cornelia Funke. And one, this is a massive book. I almost should have mentioned it for the favorite massive books. Favorite really long books. This thing is enormous. It is over 800 pages, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, actually 600. My bad. Yeah, it's over 600. Yeah, 663 is the whole book, and then there's a glossary type thing and a acknowledgement section. So, it's a thick book. But the reason I'm proud to have finished this is because it took me almost 10 years to finish this, and that's not an exaggeration. I feel terrible that it took me this long to finish this book, but the first 2 books in the series are up here, because this is a trilogy. Inkheart, I plowed through really quickly. Inkspell, I think took me maybe a little longer. And then this book, I made it to page whatever. I made it to, like, you know, very close to the end. And then school sucked the living life out of me. So I was reading this in high school, and I just got so busy, and I got scared to finish it, I think, because maybe I was like, I don't want it to be over. But at the same time, you know, I needed to know what happened. I deserved to know what happened. I think last summer, I think 2019, yeah, I was talking with my boyfriend, like, what should I read next? I really should finish some of the books on my shelf. And then I think he and I got talking about this series, because, like, it's a beautiful series. I've reread it all via the audiobooks, and it's just amazing, and I have a tattoo idea that I want for this, but, like, that's in the workings. I need to figure out some details before a tattoo can happen to memorialize this series. Alright, this came out in North America in 2008. And I know I read this in 2009, 10, 11 maybe, I don't know. I read this around the time the movie was going to come out, because mine has a little stamp that says soon to be a major motion picture. And so, I think I was probably reading this 2011, maybe? That's my best guess. Yeah, that's definitely me in high school. And then I only finished it last summer, 2019. So it took me almost 10 years to finish one honking book and concluding a beautiful trilogy that I love so much. Question 7 is gold medal. Best book you've read during a readathon. Now, today is Sunday, July 26th, which means the last day of the reading rush, and I have only started Cracked Up to Be by Courtney Summers. So this is technically the only book I've read during a readathon, because this is my first ever both reading rush and also just kind of reading challenge readathon thing. So I guess this will have to be my favorite book, and I'm really enjoying it so far, in the sense that, like, you know the main character, you're not really supposed to like her. Like, is meant to be an unlikable character. That's how she was designed. So I am enjoying it. I don't know if it'll be, like, favorite. It's hard to tell sometimes when you're only 46 pages in. So I'm excited to keep reading this. Even after the reading rush ends, I'm going to still read this, and then at least one other book for my reading rush TBR, and then I'm going to move on to... And the last question, question 8, Participation Ribbon. An underrated book you wish got more attention. And of course, I could not pick just one book, I had to pick 3. So here they are, as they came to my mind as I was looking at my shelf. So to start, Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. Oh my god, you guys are sleeping on this book, it's so much fun. So I didn't give huge synopses of the rest of these books, because you might have heard of these, you might not have heard of these. But you can go look up these books yourself, but I'm trying to sell you these books because they're underrated, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. This book is about Simone Garcia Hampton, who's starting in a new school because her last school, she had incredible bullying issues because she was outed as HIV positive. So she's moved to this new school to try and get away from that bullying and just start fresh, you know? And then she meets this boy, and it's like, oh, what does it mean that, like, I want to be with him, but also I'm HIV positive, but also if I tell him, the word could get out again, and it'll be the same problem as before. She knows she has to tell him, and then the kicker is someone's blackmailing her to stop dating him because they're gonna announce to the world that she's HIV positive. So there's, like, a little mystery in here of, like, who's sending these notes? Who's sending these threats? And, like, there's also this adorable love story between Simone and this boy named Miles. Oh my goodness, this is so much fun. It's just... And this cover is absolutely gorgeous. You're sleeping on this book. It is so much fun. Oh my god. Angie Thomas loved this book. She said, an unflinchingly honest, eye-opening story that's sure to keep readers talking. Yeah, people aren't talking about this. I want more people to talk about this. This came out in October of 2019, and I heard people talking about it in October, and not at all after. You're sleeping on this. Read this. I read this in 2 days. Go pick this up. It's lovely. The next underrated book I have here is The ABCs of LGBT+ by Ash Hardell. That's the name they go by now. It's not the name that's printed here. This is fantastic. This is literally, do you want a dictionary of queer terms that was researched by a queer person and includes other queer people? This is the book. This is it. It's beautiful. It's really soft. It's one of those, like, not velvety, but it's like really smooth, soft book. So there's a quote back here that says, "This book serves as a powerful tool for those that might be questioning their own identity, as well as for those seeking a deeper knowledge of the many varied identities that exist." So here is a fantastic resource to either educate yourself on different identities, or to look up what identities might fit you if you're feeling confused. And it's okay to feel confused. And what's fantastic is that Ash made sure that there would be a free version online so that everyone would be able to access this resource, because it's fantastic. You can go buy a physical copy if you're privileged enough to do so, and if not, I will leave a link in the description to the online free version of this. It has a different title for, like, copyright reasons, I think Ash explained, but this book is filled with beautiful illustrations, colorful illustrations, and little stories from other creators. It's got everything. It's fantastic. So this book describes spectrums, so like what it's like to describe gender on a spectrum or sexuality on a spectrum. Then it talks about gender, and then sexual and romantic identities, and then there's a lovely conclusion. I hope you go pick this up. It's lovely. It's supporting a queer online creator, and it's just a really cute book. It's so adorable. And the last underrated book I have here might not seem underrated, but I don't see many people talking about this. It is What Is Not Yours Is Not Yours by Helen Oyeyemi. Oh my god, this is a short story collection, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. One, this cover is so intriguing. Two, it's got deckled edges, for those of you who like deckled edges. Three, these stories are just magical. They're just magical, and she's a young coming author, she's British, and oh my god, that really has nothing to do with anything. But I'm half British, so I'm happy to support creators. Yeah, so here we go. Playful and exquisitely imagined. What Is Not Yours Is Not Yours is an enchanting collection of linked, intertwined stories cleverly built around the idea of keys, literal and metaphorical. Go read this if you need a short story collection. It is just so lovely, and I really want to reread it. I've been wanting to reread this for months, but I'm also like really wanting to mark books from unread to read. This is another fantastic book recommendation, in my opinion. And that does it. Let's see if I can hold the whole stack of books. There we go. Should I make this a thumbnail? Maybe. I don't know if they're all in frame. Either way, I'll pick a thumbnail from that, because why not? If you've made it to this point, comment below one of these books that you've read and loved, or that you're excited to read. Like and subscribe, I guess, for more tag videos. But yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye!